Hey, everybody. Welcome to Breakfast All Day. Christy, Alonso, return with us now to the early days of television as Aaron Sorkin tells you and tells you and tells you and tells you what it's like being the Ricardos.
Which is a terrible title, by the way.
Yeah, for starters.
Like of all the titles we could have. So this takes place with sort of a back and forth structure here. It takes place in what is it a fake documentary with interviews from the modern day people who worked on I Love Lucy?
Yeah,
that part's confusing.
It's basically we're dealing with 1 week in the life of Lucy and Desi and and I Love Lucy, but there's a lot of jumping backwards and jumping forwards. And yeah, these interviews with, like Linda Lavin pretending to be Madeline Pugh, who was one of the writers of the show and who is it played in for the rest of the film by Alia Shawkat. And there's a lot in this bowl.
There's multiple stuff going on here. So so Nicole Kidman is Lucille Ball and Javier Bardem is Desi Arnaz. And yeah, as you mentioned, it takes place during this one kind of stressful week on I Love Lucy. I guess in real life, it was a different episode that they were working on, but they moved it to this episode where Fred and Ethel are fighting to keep everybody in that apartment set on I Love Lucy. And so it's how Lucy juggles the fact that she is being investigated as a communist by the House Un-American
Activities
Committee. And but also she's pregnant. And so they're trying to figure out how to work that into the show because, never has there even been the suggestion that sitcom characters have sex, much less sleep in the same bed, much less make a person. So how do you coordinate that? And one other thing is going on. What's the other thing that's going on during this busy week?
There's a Confidential magazine has just run a cover story about how Desi is cheating on Lucy.
Is having an affair, right?
And you have there's so many ands in the movie. And Vivian Vance is annoyed by the fact that she's always being frumped up in the on camera. That Lucy gets to be the glamorous one. And you have the strife in the writers' room, including Madeline Pugh thinking that Lucy is being infantilized. And you have like the sponsor, the Philip Morris cigarettes, getting involved in everything. And
anyway, it's a lot. So there was a great brouhaha when Nicole Kidman was cast as Lucille Ball because people thought that other actresses looked more like her. We were talking in our news segment about Tom Holland being cast as Fred Astaire. And is that a good choice? And do they have to look like them? Does it matter? I think what Nicole Kidman does here, the technical work she does here is the most impressive part of the performance in that she has to create two fully realized versions of this woman, the Lucille Ball with the husky voice who was no bullshit. And seeing her, and I don't know if this is truly what she did, but seeing her like behind the scenes, tinkering with the dialogue, moving things around to make the comedy work better on set. I'm not sure if that worked or not, but the idea that she had that kind of keen sense of comedy and was not being allowed to share it is an interesting concept. Her asserting herself despite being told to sit and be in your place. There's that, but then she also has to do Lucy, right? Beloved Lucy Ricardo, and the voice is up here, and and so they there's a flashback at one point to the grape stomping episode. And, they do the hair and the clothes and they've recreated the apartment. And I think this works as a little time capsule in a curiosity kind of way. If you miss this era of television, if you were raised on it, if you love it, you'll probably enjoy it. I really love Nina Arianda as Vivian Vance. Yes. She's always good. She's always like an underappreciated MVP. She brings a lot of emotional truth into what is, the Aaron Sorkin-y, like walk and talk razzmatazz. She finds some grounding. J.K. Simmons is a fantastic choice to play William Frawley. I don't know whether those conversations actually ever happened between him and Lucille Ball, but I like that energy between him and Nicole Kidman. At one point, they leave the Desi Lou studios and they walk across the street to Bordner's.
Yes.
Which is a bar in Hollywood, which she's joking about like what a dive and a shithole it is. Bordner's is a very hip place to go in Hollywood.
It doesn't even look that scummy in the movie,
Yeah.
like it seems like a fairly nice bar.
People, but I guess like if you're day drinking in Hollywood,
I suppose.
I guess you're scuzzy or whatever. I don't know. I'm very mixed on this. I don't get the whole point of the documentary structure, although I like the idea of Alia Shawkat growing up and becoming Linda Lavin. That's a nice thought.
Yeah.
But I don't get why that helps at all. Is it feels like it was tacked on to provide context or perspective.
It's Sorkin. I really wish he'd stop directing or at least or get better at it, because this is now 3 movies in and I'm not a fan of any of them. He is putting 10 pounds of material into a 5-pound sack here. Yeah. So it's like you have the flashbacks to like how Lucy and Desi met, and you have her getting fired from RKO and going to radio and then going from radio to TV and insisting that Desi play her husband and their business acumen, all of which is a fascinating story. You could do a movie just about that stuff, but to also have all the Red Scare stuff and all the marital strife and all the, this movie just, it like keeps packing it in. And it's like, if you wanted to just do that 1 week in the life of the show and limit it to that, great. But if you give me these flashbacks and these flash forwards and all, even the grape stomping thing is a flash forward. Like they hadn't even written that episode yet, but she's like imagining it in her mind.
Yeah.
It's just like too much. And also this movie is visually really like, I get that everybody was smoking cigarettes back then, but everything has that kind of smoky hue to it. So like the bar is lit the way the TV set is lit, the way their house is lit, like everything has that kind of like, nicotine stained, cinematography to it. And so it's not much fun to look at. I do admire that Nicole Kidman, you catch these bits of Lucy's voice in her voice, which I think she does really well. And Javier Bardem is fine as Desi Arnaz. And the movie does give them the credit for, they revolutionized early television. Like, I don't know if this is common knowledge. Like when we got done, Dave was like, I would like to see a 10-hour Ken Burns documentary about this show, because, they make brief reference to the fact that like they created an entire camera system in which they were filming the show and not just like doing these kinescopes for the East Coast. They got Carl Freund, who like shot Metropolis, to come in to be the director of photography. The reason that the show was rerun for so long and continues to be is because it was shot on film, and so it still looked good, as opposed to a lot of other early TV, which is like kind of captured on these weird like a camera pointed at a TV screen while it was live. They were very smart about themselves as entities, and they had come up through the business and been sort of ignored by the movies, and then found a way to make TV work for them. And you get some of that in this movie, but there's just so much stuff to dig through here, and it's beyond Sorkin's ability to keep it all interesting and to make it all feel like a smooth, like he's telling one story and not 10 stories.
Well, that's why you have the behind the scenes walk and talks. You have your Sorkin-y hallway walk and talks. When I mentioned Jeff Cronenweth shot this,
well,
it was Fincher's usual DP.
I'm not loving what he did here. And maybe that was all he gave Sorkin, what Sorkin wanted. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Fight Club looks kind of smoky like that too, I guess.
But Fight Club has a lot of tones going on. You think about the offices and like the recovery, the support group meetings, and there's a lot. This one, everything kind of feels like it's in the same sort of dingy tone.
Yeah, I think the production design, the costumes, I do like Nicole Kidman's performance, but yeah, it's very scattered, and as you say, it's just trying to do too much and never does any of it really excellently.
Yeah.
So I'm saying 6.2.
I said 6. So we're a 6.1.
Yeah. Where is this playing? It's Amazon.
It is currently in theaters and coming to Amazon Prime, I believe, December 21st.
Okay. Well, this just feels like the kind of movie that before it's even announced, there are great awards expectations for it. Like, oh, Nicole Kidman playing Lucille Ball and Aaron Sorkin wrote and directed it. And it's not that good.
Yeah, frankly, yes. But, but I wouldn't be surprised, because we are going to be paying for that Freddie Mercury Oscar for so long of like celebrities playing other celebrities. God help us all. Anyway, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised this got awards attention, but it's not particularly good. All right, well, thanks for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. We're talking about TV right at the moment. It's Hawkeye and The Great, but a lot of cool stuff coming up very soon. Also, of course, videos like this with no commercial interruption, our monthly Off the Menu, and lots of other stuff that only our subscribers get. So why not become one? Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.